I have a ticket stub in a drawer somewhere from a Journey show, and I could not tell you what year it was, but I could tell you exactly what the air felt like when the piano intro started. That is what this band is to me. That is what this band is to a lot of us. And then I started digging into what was happening backstage, behind the harmonies, behind the lighter in the air moments. And I want to be careful how I say this, became. But this is one of the meanest, longest, most personal series of betrayals in American rock. If I can't believe that someone... Guys getting fired by phone. Guys getting fired by lawyer. One guy who was introduced to the man replacing him and told he was somebody's cousin. 10 of them. Counting down. And the closer we get to number 1, the harder they land. Let's go. Number 10. The singer who met his own replacement here is something I did not know for most of my life as a Journey fan, and when I found out, I actually put the book down for a second. The guy who wrote the words to Wheel in the Sky never sang it on the record. And nobody told him he was about to lose the job. Summer of 1977. Journey is 4 years old and going nowhere commercially. 3 albums of jazzy, progressive, instrumentally brilliant rock that critics respected and radio ignored. Manager Herbie Herbert makes the call. This band needs a face. He brings in a singer named Robert Fleischman. And Fleischman works. He gets in a room with Neil Schon. He takes a poem written by bassist Ross Valerie's wife Diane, pulls one line out of it, Wheel in the Sky, and builds a lyric around it. That song becomes the first Journey single ever to chart. Very much and here is the part I did not know until I started digging. While Fleischman was on the road singing those songs, management already had a tape of another singer, a guy from a band called Alien Project, Steve Perry. So they start bringing Perry around. He's at the side of the stage. He's at a sound check. And when the two of them are finally introduced, Fleischman is told this guy is a cousin of somebody in the management camp. Just a relative. Nobody important. He was not a relative. He was the audition. Fleischman was gone by the fall. Perry debuted on October 28, 1977, at the Old Waldorf in San Francisco. And when Wheel in the Sky came out, it was Perry's voice on it. Fleischman touched with those guys for decades. But somewhere out there is a man who hears his own words on classic rock radio every single week, sung by somebody else. Some songs don't belong to the person who wrote them. They belong to whoever got to sing them. Number 9. The drummer who sued them. I love this part, and I feel a little guilty about loving it. Are you feeling? Because number 9 is the first time somebody in this band looked at what happened to him and said, "No, I'm taking this to court." Ainsley Dunbar, British, a monster behind a kit. A new road's waiting, you touch my life. Before Journey, he'd played with Frank Zappa, with John Mayall, with Lou Reed. He joined Journey in 1974, and he's on the first 4 albums. He is the engine of everything they did before the hits. And then Steve Perry walks in, and the whole band turns toward the radio. Infinity is a pop record compared to what came before it. You're feeling that way too. Or am I just... And Dunbar, a fusion player, a guy who wanted to challenge the arrangements every night, is suddenly being asked to play the same thing the same way, over and over, to protect the hit. September 2nd, 1978. Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum. Last show. And the stories immediately split. Dunbar said he walked. The band said they let him go. Herbie Herbert's version was blunt. Dunbar wasn't a team player, he was out there trying to look great every night. And you know what? He did look great every night. That was sort of the point of him. Then Dunbar did the thing nobody in that camp expected. He sued. And he won. Steve Smith took the drum chair, and Journey became the biggest arena band in America almost immediately after. So the timing looks brutal from the outside, pushed out right as the money arrives. But listen to Dunbar talk about it later, and it isn't about money at all. He talked about what happens to you when the artistic part gets taken away. He said financial success can't reach the part of you that needs to create something. I know you know that feeling. Different job, same feeling. And here's the thing that still surprises me. In 2017, when Journey went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Ainsley Dunbar went in with them, standing right there with the guys he sued. Let's look at the numbers. Only 9% of you are actually subscribed. Honestly, that's tough to see. Our team spends days hunting down archives and verifying every single fact just to tell these stories right. If you've made it this far into the video, you're clearly part of the community, so please hit subscribe. It costs nothing and helps us immensely. Now, for those already subscribed, very few of you have made the jump to our membership, and that's a hard pill to swallow because you're the ones who know our value best. If this channel has moved you or inspired you, consider joining. It's the price of one coffee, but it's the literal fuel for this channel. Let's keep this alive together. Back to the story. Number 8. The founder who got quietly squeezed out. This one doesn't have a villain. That's why it's on the list. Because some betrayals don't have anyone to blame, and those are the ones that sit in your chest a little longer. Greg Rowley co-founded this band. Before that, he was the voice on Black Magic Woman with Santana. On Journey's first 3 albums, he's the lead singer. He's the identity. Then the band hires a dedicated frontman, and Rowley is still there, still on the organ, still singing harmonies, still on Feeling That Way, still on Just the Same Way, but the spotlight has moved about 4 feet to his left, and it is never coming back. By 1980's departure, he's got basically one song where he's out front, on a record by the band he started. And here's what I appreciate about Greg Rowley. He has never dressed this up. He's said plainly, more than once, that he left because he didn't like his life anymore. Not because he got pushed. Because he was unhappy, he was tired of the road, he wanted a family. But he's also said, in hindsight, that he doesn't think Perry loved having another singer in the band. He's careful about it. He doesn't accuse. He just says what it looked like from where he was standing. And then he does something almost nobody in rock history does. On his way out the door, he picks his own replacement. He points at a keyboard player in the Babies and says, "That guy. That's who you want." That guy was Jonathan Cain. The next album was Escape, 9 times platinum, Don't Stop Believin', Open Arms, Who's Crying Now? The founder handed over the keys and then watched from the driveway while the car he built became the biggest thing on the road. And to this day, Rowley says it out loud. Without Cain's writing, that band doesn't do half of what it did. That is a bigger man than most of us would be. Remember what I told you about 2 guys getting fired twice? We are getting closer to it. Number 7. They fired the architect. I need to tell you something about this band that nobody talks about enough. Journey did not start as 5 guys in a garage. Journey started as one man's idea, and that man got voted off the island. Herbie Herbert, ex-Santana roadie, protege of Bill Graham, and the guy who assembled the original Journey lineup around Neil Schon in 1973. He found Steve Perry. He built the business, Nightmare Productions for the records, Nocturne for the lights and the giant video screens, which basically invented the modern arena show as we know it. He didn't just manage this band, he engineered it. And here is the part I did not expect. I'm forever yours. In 1993, Steve Perry asked for him to be replaced. Personality conflict. 20 years of building this thing, and he's out. Now, I want to be fair here, because Herbert was not a soft man. He was a football coach personality. He'd fired Robert Fleischman himself. He said hard things about people in print. If you were in the locker room and you weren't pulling, he told you. But he also set that band up so that when the money came, everybody actually got some of it. That is genuinely rare. That is not how most of these stories go. Here's the twist that gets me. In 2017, when Journey was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, every single member thanked Herbie Herbert from that stage, the man they'd let go 24 years earlier. And he was watching the band's later legal wars from the outside, and he called it a tragedy. He said it was all rooted in money, and it could undo something great. He died in October 2021. He was 73. You just felt something shift. I did too when I found this. Because there is a specific kind of loss in watching something you built keep going without you, and knowing you'd still defend it to anybody who asked. Number 6, the rhythm section got erased from their own album. There is a Journey album where the bass player does not appear at all, not one note, and he was still in the band when they started making it. 1985. Raised on Radio. Steve Perry has just come off a double platinum solo record. He's producing this one. He's the most powerful person in the room by a distance, and he arrives with demos already built. And the way Journey always worked, everybody in a room, hammering it out together, that's not what's happening this time. Session players start showing up. Randy Jackson on bass. Yes, that Randy Jackson. Larry London, a Motown veteran, tracking drums for 2 weeks while the band's actual drummer is standing right there. Steve Smith described that period in one of the band biographies, and it is one of the most honest things any musician has ever said about getting pushed out. He said he felt hurt. He said he felt personally betrayed. He said he was made to feel like he wasn't a good musician, and that it hit him where he lives. I know you have had a version of this experience. Not in a recording studio, but you know what it is to be in a room where the decision about you has already been made and nobody's said it out loud yet. Smith ends up on 3 songs. 3. Ross Valerie, a founding member, ends up on 0. Herbie Herbert was against the whole thing. It happened anyway. And here's what makes it complicated instead of simple. Steve Perry was falling apart at the time. His mother was dying while he made that record. He was producing, singing, and carrying a grief he could not put down. Years later, on VH1, he said if he could do it again, he'd do it differently. I believe him. I also think Ross Valory and Steve Smith get to keep their version of it. Both things are true. That's what makes it hurt. Number 5. The last night nobody knew was the last night, February 1st, 1987. Anchorage, Alaska. Sullivan Sports Arena. They close with Faithfully, and that is the last full concert Steve Perry ever plays with Journey. Nobody in the building knows it. I'm not sure everybody on the stage knew it. The tour is cut off right there. Remaining shows canceled, band goes on hiatus, and the hiatus turns into a disappearance. And you have to understand what Perry was carrying. His mother had died during the making of that album. He'd produced it through her illness. He'd fired his own rhythm section. He'd been in the machine for 10 straight years. His own word for the state he was in was toast. Later, he described it as burnout that went so deep it was closer to trauma. He said the passion that made it worth doing was gone, and he had to find out if he'd be okay without any of it. The applause, the adoration, all of it. And then he vanished. Years. No records. No shows. Nothing. And here's the part that I find honestly kind of brutal. Sean and Kane did not sit around waiting. They formed Bad English with John Waite, the guy Kane had left behind in the Babies. And in November 1989, they had a #1 single in America with When I See You Smile. So the singer is in seclusion grieving his mother, and his bandmates are on top of the Hot 100 with somebody else's voice. I'm not saying they did anything wrong. Musicians have to work. But you cannot tell me that didn't register somewhere. Some bands break up. This one just stopped, in Alaska, in the middle of a sentence. Number 4, the phone message. You know how this one ends? We all know how it ends. Steve Perry doesn't come back. But where it actually broke is one message on an answering machine. And once you know what it said, the whole thing sounds different.
There's a bed of gold that shines, waiting.
1996. They reunite. The whole classic lineup, Valerie and Smith welcomed back in. Trial by Fire comes out, goes top 20 in the middle of the alternative rock era, gets a Grammy nomination, 3 charting singles. It works. It genuinely works. All that's left is the tour. And then Steve Perry goes hiking in Hawaii, and something goes wrong in his hip. Degenerative bone condition.
If I can't believe that someone.
The fix is a full hip replacement, and he does not want it. He tries other things first. The band waits. And I want to be fair to them, because this is the part people skip. They waited roughly 17 months. A comeback album is a window, and that window was closing while they sat there. So they start quietly looking at other singers.
You know she's standing by us.
And then, January of 1998, Perry gets a message. The message told him to go out and do whatever he wanted, but not to call it Journey. Perry's response to that has never changed in almost 30 years. He said it fractured the stone. He said he was given an ultimatum, and he doesn't respond well to ultimatums. He was officially out on May 7, 1998. Steve Augeri got the job. Perry has not sung a full show with that band since Alaska in 1987. And here's what I keep landing on. Everything before that was fixable. The 1985 firings, they fixed those. They all came back. The 1987 collapse, they fixed that too. They made a great record. That one sentence they couldn't fix. Because the moment somebody tells you the band can continue without you, they've already told you what you are. Number 3, the silence. This is the one I have told the most people about in real life. Because it's not dramatic. There's no lawsuit, no screaming. It's just 2 men who lost the biggest job in rock and were never told why. Steve Augeri had the impossible gig, following Steve Perry, and he did it for 8 years.
I'm gonna take you to a higher place.
Then, in July 2006, in the middle of a summer tour with Def Leppard, his voice goes, throat infection. He has to step off the road. And the way Augeri has described it since is so quiet it almost slips past you. He said they never really told him. They sent him to doctors, and soon after, he was replaced. He also said he understood. The touring train had to keep going. He's not angry about it, which somehow makes it worse. Enter Jeff Scott Soto. Sean's friend, a serious singer, drops into the tour about a week and a half in and saves it. December 19th, 2006. They announce him as the permanent lead singer of Journey. Permanent. That's the word they used. June 12, 2007. He's out. And Soto has said, for years, that he genuinely does not know why. That's the part that gets me. He said if they'd told him his voice wasn't right, if they'd told him he'd offended somebody, if they'd given him any reason at all, he could have made peace with it. He got nothing. And there was legal paperwork involved that limited what he could even say about it. Sean eventually answered him, years later, in a Facebook comment under a news article. Said it just didn't sound like what they wanted. 6 months later, they found a singer in a Filipino cover band on YouTube named Arnel Pineda, and he's still there today, the longest-serving frontman in Journey history. But think about Soto for a second. Named permanent singer of Journey at Christmas. Gone by summer. Answered on social media a decade and a half later. You can be a footnote in something enormous. That is its own particular kind of lonely. Number 2. Fired twice, 35 years apart. This is the one I mentioned. And I told you, you would not believe it. Ross Valori and Steve Smith got fired from Journey together in 1985. And then, almost 35 years later, to the week, they got fired from Journey together again. March 3, 2020. Neil Schon and Jonathan Cain file suit in California and remove them both. The claim is enormous. They say Valerie and Smith attempted what the press immediately called a corporate coup. Here's the mechanism, and it's so unglamorous it's almost funny. Nightmare Productions, Herbie Herbert's old company, the one he built in the 70s, has a three-person board. Kane is president, Sean is secretary, Valori is the third seat. The lawsuit alleged that Valori and Smith convened meetings and voted Kane and Sean out of their own offices, Smith into the presidency, Valori into the secretary's chair. The complaint said they were trying to get control of the Journey name to fund their retirement. $10 million in damages sought. And the letter their lawyer sent was about as cold as these letters get. No confidence, no rights to the name. Effective immediately, you are no longer members of the band Journey. Valerie countersued. His filing went digging into paperwork from 1985 and 1994 and 1998, arguing the whole chain of who owns that name had been misread, which means the trademark deal that got signed in the same year Steve Perry fired those two men was still the thing being fought over 35 years later. Same year, same two guys, different weapon. It settled in April 2021. Both sides put out a word neither side's behavior really earned. Amicable. Ross Valerie played on almost every Journey album ever made. He was there before the hits, during the hits, and for the reunion. And he found out twice in his life that being there from the beginning does not make you safe. Nothing does. Number 1. The two men who built it, and the war they fought anyway. Neil Sean and Jonathan Cain are the reason Journey still exists. When Perry left, they carried it. They found the singers, they held the name, they kept the machine running for a quarter of a century. And then they spent years suing each other. October 2022. Sean sues Cain in California. The claim, he's being blocked from a corporate American Express account with millions of Journey dollars running through it. Cain's response in January 2023 is not gentle. He accuses Sean of charging around $1 million in personal expenses to the band's card, and itemizes it. 1 month with over $100,000 in jewelry and clothing, tens of thousands at a department store, insurance premiums. And here is what stopped me cold when I was researching this. In February, the band's longtime bank cut ties with them, their own bank. A group that had just come off one of the biggest tours of its career. Meanwhile, Cain plays Don't Stop Believin' at a political event at Mar-a-Lago, and Sean has his lawyer send him a cease and desist, telling his own keyboard player, the man who wrote that song, to stop playing that song. The letter argued Journey isn't political and shouldn't be, and that this was damaging the brand. Cain fired back in the press that Sean had been damaging the brand for years. July 2024, Cain files again, this time in Delaware, over the touring company they co-own 50-50. And in August, a court appoints an outside custodian, a former vice-chancellor, as a third director. Sean is barred from acting alone. Any deadlock between the two founders of modern Journey now gets broken by a stranger appointed by a judge. That is how it ended, not with a handshake, with a referee. And through every single bit of that, the lawsuits, the letters, the accusations in Rolling Stone, they toured. They stood 20 feet apart under the lights and played Open Arms, and Faithfully, and Lights, and thousands of people cried, and nobody in the crowd had any idea. In October 2025, Cain announced he's leaving after the farewell run. Sean's answer was 4 words. He's nowhere near done. He's already filed paperwork on a new name to keep going. So here's where I land, and then I'll shut up. Journey has been trying to end Journey for 50 years. Firings, lawsuits, coups, ultimatums, silence. And it never worked, because the songs got out. The songs got into cars and bedrooms and gymnasiums and funerals, and they belong to us now, and there is no board meeting on earth that can take them back. The band betrayed itself over and over. The music never betrayed anybody,